the good point about preparing these is you see that the petioles, they snap right off. You know, I grafted it with the side veneer. Best time to graft an avocado is February, March, when it's during the colder part of the year. This limb is my Springfield. The rest of it's Tommy Atkins. Outside there is, holy cow, it's about an inch thick. And it's got all this old stuff in it, so this is not going to get sunburned.
So on this one here,
yes,
you cut all these sides and you left that side.
Yeah, because the other side is coconut cream.
Oh, you got to leave that.
I go real lightly on it like this.
Because it's already taken. What's this graft called that you're doing?
Side veneer.
Side veneer. All right, everybody, look where we are back at. We were here. This is Charlie Poole's house. This man's been growing mangoes for many, many years. And I'll put a link below to his previous video. But I'm excited because we're going to go here today and we're going to see how he grafts his trees. He's grafted probably more mango trees than most people alive. And he's going to give us an inside tip on different grafts today.
Yeah. Okay.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Fruitful Trees. This is Charlie Poole. We're back at his house. As you can see in the background, there's a bunch of fruit trees. This man has, how many mango trees do you think you have?
Probably 120.
Hey, 120 mango trees, and he's top worked many over the years. And I'm going to put a link below to the last time I was here, and it's an amazing place, and he's going to show us some grafting techniques here today. Thanks for having us come on out.
And it's my pleasure, as always.
All right, you can contact Charlie at his Facebook link. I'll put that link below, and here we go. Charlie, how you been, all right?
All right, doing good, Paul. How are you?
Good, good. We're coming up to the end of mango season here. Do you have any mangoes left at all?
No.
No. How was the season for you?
Mediocre.
Mediocre. Okay, now a lot of your trees are grafted. In the last video, we spoke about these grafted trees, but today we're going to actually show, you're going to show how you graft some of your trees.
Yes, I've got some seedlings here that we're going to show you, and I've got a couple of volunteers that you said you were interested in, and we can do that as well.
What kind of seedlings are these?
They're just these were trees that came up under the Tommy Atkins, and you can use any seedling that you want. Some are better than others, though, because I mainly use Caren seedlings.
Now, with some being better than others, but those would be the ones you would preference to use if you had a choice?
Yes, I would rather use a Caren seedling.
Okay. And how do you know some are better than others? Just through experience over the years?
Just through experience, yes.
Okay, so these might be Tommy Atkins.
Yes, these are definitely from the Tommy Atkins tree on the other side, yes.
So you're going to show us how you take a seedling and you graft it over to a tree in the pot, or to take the budwood and put it on a tree? What are you going to do?
I have some seedling, some scions that I have prepared in the back. We're going to go back and cut those scions off. And then we're going to show you I call them volunteers, you call them seedlings that came up underneath the trees. And I'm going to show you that because I promised I would do that for you. And then we're going to come back here and show you how to graft these trees. I'll show you a side veneer. I'll show you a top cleft graft. I'll show you the chip bud graft that you were interested in, and maybe even a whip and tone.
Sounds good.
And so we'll walk in the back and get those scions now.
Sounds good. All right. Well, tell us, Charlie, remind us how big this property was?
It's 2.5 acres.
2.5 acres. And he has a whole bunch of trees. You could check out the video we did last time with all these different trees.
As we're walking, you can see we're, I told you I was going to have to cut some of these trees because they were just too tall.
And you did?
Yes, that's a cac tree, and it's cut back pretty severely. Now, I did some money pruning, what I call money pruning. I left some of the limbs stay on the tree, and I'll get mangoes off of them next summer. But then after I get mangoes this following summer, those trees, limbs will be trimmed back.
Okay. Well, how old is this cac?
Well, the original tree is probably 100 years old, but the cack is probably, the grafts are probably around 5 years old, something like that. And a cack is a very strong tree. It grows very fast. So if you're going to have a tree like that, you better have a lot of room for it.
Now, if somebody cuts back a tree, if they have a cack and they don't have a lot of room and they try to keep it small, will it affect their fruit crop every year?
I have a tree, 3 trees down, that's a cack that I top grafted, and it's about 15 feet tall, and I had a nice crop on it this year. So yeah, they'll produce even on the shorter side. But this tree was loaded this year.
Wow. Have you already done all of your pruning back for the year, or do you still have stuff to do?
I'm not going to do any more pruning back. This is a quesar that I prepared, and the good point about preparing these is you see that the petioles, they snap right off. Then you take and cut it off.
When you say you prepared that, you cut the leaves off.
I cut the leaves off like this. Now, if you do this and leave part of the leaf there, it's no good because it'll continue to grow. So you have to take and trim it off like this.
But you don't trim it here, you leave this here, or does that make a difference if you trim it all the way or trim it here?
I would just leave it like that so there won't be any damage to your buds there, because you never know. It might take from the top, or it might take from one of the buds down below. You just don't know.
So then when you prepare it like this, and then how long do you wait before you come back and cut this?
4 days, 4 or 5 days.
4 or 5 days, and then at that point these will fall off easily like you
just like I did, yes.
Okay.
I've got another one over here, I think.
Now when you're cutting a particular, does it matter which one you're looking for when you cut it like that to prepare it, or?
That's a very good question, because as you can see from that one, it's getting ready to grow, but this one has already shot the buds all out and leaving just a primary bud. I call it a primary bud, just mainly one bud at the top, and that's the part that's going to start growing first. It'll sprout out that way, and that's just the way it.
Some people say they call it pushing. They say you should
yes.
the one that's put. So if you did this, like for example, nothing's pushing. So would this be just less likely to?
Well, I look at it
successful.
That might be all right, but I wanted something a little more substantial in the bottom here. And you say, well, usually you go with say 6 inches, but I might use the bottom part for a chip bud.
Okay, and to show us that. Okay,
and then I have
right there.
Oh, I have found another one here. Okay, good. Thank you. And then they just snap right off.
Okay, and that's quesar.
This is the quesar. It's a very good mango.
Excellent variety.
Okay. Let's go over here. I got 2 over. We in the first video that we did, you asked me about these. Now this tree did not have any mangoes on it, but I grafted it with the side veneer, and you asked me at that time, could you come back and I'd show you how to do that side veneer, which is fine. But this is 2 more quesars. And you say, why do you prepare like this? Well, you prepare it because when you wrap it with the tape, it just wraps so much tighter. And it just snaps right off. And there's no damage to your scion whatsoever. It's just easier on the scion. And something that doesn't have to prepare.
Now, are these pushing?
A little.
Okay, so when you see them pushing, that's the way you know which one to prepare and come back 4 days later?
I know that looking at that is good growth right here. And that's the one I wanted to go with instead of something like this. You see that could go too, and that is a cack. You could use that one because there's a little bud beginning to break out.
So that would be a good one.
That would be a good one, very good.
But now it wouldn't be ideal to take it now and cut it. It's best to wait 4 days. You're saying.
No, you can do it now. The reason you do this, you prepare them, is to get that tree in the growth cycle. So that's just better for it.
So, but you could do it now, but it's better to wait.
Yeah. You could do it now and just cut the leaves off and make it, cut it even with the scion that, you can still wrap it tightly. This is better when you prepare it because when you wrap it, there's no air pockets or anything like that in there, and it's really better.
Okay. So if you have the time, everybody, that's the way to do it.
All of these.
Okay, so we got Kesar and Kak, two of my favorite varieties.
Yes, they're very good.
All right.
Now I've got problems. I can't remember where
Now here's an avocado. What avocado is this?
That's the Poole avocado.
The Poole avocado.
And it's not ready yet. Although look at this. See it. There you go. There's the example. When you see the we're starting to change color just a little bit, I can pick it. Now all avocados are green when you pick them. And then you have to put it on the counter, let it soften up, and then I tell people don't mash it, put it in your hand and go like this, feel it, and if it's still firm, then you know it's not ready. But one thing about an avocado is that you can leave it on the tree until it gets ready, and then you can pick it, take it in, and it'll ripen up for you, and it's like it's in storage for you.
When's the best time to graft an avocado?
Best time to graft an avocado is February, March, when it's during the colder part of the year, but it's the best time. I've tried to do it just recently, and it's so hot. I've had a few successes, but not as many as I do February, March.
All right.
There's your avocado to take home and let it ripen up.
All right.
And now you said that you were going to tell me if that or a new improved pollock is better, or the pollock itself is better.
That's the Poole, right?
This is the Poole.
Okay, I'll tell you.
Okay, I'm counting on that.
Now, does it matter how long the budwood is?
I like them to be about 5 inches long because the very next thing that you're going to do is wrap the top about 3 inches with bare film tape or buddy tape. That's to keep the moisture in and keep it from drying.
But in terms of the success of the graft coming through, it doesn't matter if it's shorter or longer.
I would make it 5 inches because you want to take in the bottom part has to be about I would say about 2 inches.
Okay.
So we've got about three cacks, so that's good. Okay.
2.5 acres is a lot of land, everybody.
This is Kesar. I'm really high on the Kesars right now.
Now, are you grafting trees to sell, or are you replanting, or is this just for the video? Why are you grafting?
Some of the trees I resell.
Okay.
And,
two of the greatest varieties, Kesar and Kak.
Yeah, it comes right off. And instead of cutting them off, slicing them off, they just snap right off, and then leaves a real nice scion to graft on. You say, why did I do so many of them? I wanted to make sure that I had one that was about ready to bust out like that. I did the others that Alexis is holding, so that you know, I did them earlier, and these I did later during the day, but I wanted to make sure I had some scions that were ideal.
Does the time during the day matter when you prepare these, or not really?
Not really.
Okay.
And then I had one rosy gold over here.
Now, I've got a question. If you prepare this before the bud is pushing, can the bud still push? Can you leave that on there with no leaves and the bud will still push later on? Or once you cut it, it's already, if it's not pushing, it's not going to push?
No, when you do this, it stimulates the tree for these buds to start growing.
Pushing. Okay.
And sometimes I have done them and forgot about them, and they popped out and became part of the tree.
So that's still one of the advantages to cutting them a couple of days before, is they'll push better.
Yes, I think it stimulates the tree to do the initial part of the grafting process. And you say, how much do I use? I use about that much of it right there. But I have that part. If I wanted to do another graft, I have that part to do. It might be small, but I could do a chip bud with this, and I'm going to show you how to do that chip bud. And I think everyone will like that too.
It's great.
Okay.
That's rosy gold. Okay.
Yeah, that's rosy. I marked it Angie, but it's really rosy gold. I did 15 of these trees. They're all down the middle in 22. Yeah, 22. And that's 3 years ago.
All that growth is new?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's only 3 years old?
That's only 3 years old.
Wow.
And this one is 2 years old. That was done in 23.
What's going on with this tree, Charlie?
I trimmed it back. That's a Tommy Atkins. I'm going to take and top-grafted. This tree, this limb is my Springfield. The rest of it's Tommy Atkins. I went to Home Depot and got me some paint, and I'm going to paint the ends. The tree that in the front that we did last time, it got borers, and I will go over and check that out if you want to. And when a tree gets borers, you can actually smell it. You can smell the difference in the tree. Like, there's no smell here coming at all, but when you get over there, you'll see it. And then I had to get some spray for borers, and I'm in the process now of spraying that tree.
And how do the borers get in, through the top?
They get in through that top, yes.
So now some people will paint the top, but considering this tree was a big tree, they say this tree can get sunburned. So why wouldn't you plant the whole tree? Some people do that.
Paint the whole tree.
Paint the whole tree.
Some people do that, but I haven't.
Because they say when there's a big bush on the tree and then you cut that, now this is exposed. So I hear, if you don't want the tree to get sunburned, don't just paint the top, but paint the whole tree.
Well, you look at this tree, as big as it is, you can see that the outside there is, holy cow, it's about an inch thick, and it's got all this old stuff in it. So this is not going to get sunburned. The newer growth might. There's some limbs there that are newer that might, but I don't have too much trouble with the sunburn. But I have trouble with the borers. I'm more concerned with the borers than I am with the sun.
Okay, so you're going to paint, when are you going to paint those tops?
I'm going to get on it today, or I'll start, but I've got around 15 trees to do. And some of them are cut back severely, like this one, and this is what you have to do to convert a tree over. It's a lot of, it's a lot of work, it's a job, but...
Now when you do this, do you wait for new growth to pop out of here, and that's what you do, or do you leave an existing one and do that?
Well, you know what? Job, who trims all my trees, it's 3 guys trimming. I asked him to leave some of the limbs, if possible, so I could graft on them. And he always does what I ask him to do. He's a very good man. See, I can take and do 3 limbs on that one this summer. I don't have to wait. This tree will put off new growth, and I will be able to graft this probably this year, and I have 1 year's growth on it at this time next year.
So if you took right now, and we're not going to do this today, but if you took one of those scions we just cut and grafted it onto one of those and just left it, in a couple of years you'll have fruit, and that'll be that type of tree.
That limb would be converted over to whatever scion we use on it.
And then as for this one, where there's no limbs left here, you have to wait till a new shoot grows out and then you graft on top of it,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And you only need one to take to get the tree. You don't need more than one, right?
Yeah, like for an example, if I cut this whole thing down and left that limb right there, that's a Springfield. Well, Springfield is not really that great of a mango either. It gets black spot bacteria. It tastes good, and it's huge. Things weigh 4 or 5 pounds a piece, but they split. They get black spot. So sometimes I wonder why I didn't just go ahead and cut that back, but it's nostalgic. I got to have that Springfield because it's one of the mangoes when I was coming up. Well, if you had a Springfield, you had a pretty good mango.
That's the parent of the pineapple pleasure, I think.
Is it?
Yeah.
You know about those things.
Yeah. So now, if you cut this tree back too far, the tree could die, right?
Yes, because I showed you that tree on the other side. Yes. I am going to take and cut off probably the middle part of that. I don't really want the limbs in the middle. I wanted to have a little more air. And
very good point. You know, so he's gonna not do anything with this. Cut this middle out, so he'll have 3 sides, maybe even 4 sides of grafts on there. Are you gonna put 1 tree or 4 different trees?
I'm just going to have probably Carrie. Carrie's one of my best sellers. I don't like it. You're talking about the other day about the different tastes of these newer mangoes. I don't like a Carrie at all. It has kind of a weird taste to me. And the Super Julie, oh God, that really throws me. But Pickering, oh my good, and the Golden Nugget. Oh, I've fallen in love with the Golden Nugget. I might do a Golden Nugget on this tree.
And you said you like Pickering?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. My wife does not like Angie. I told you the story on that.
Yeah.
The borer, is that a beetle? Or some kind of an insect that
yes.
burrows into the tree?
Yeah, it goes in that tree and it'll actually throw off little mounds of, like a termite.
Oh, wow.
And it'll kill that tree.
So some people still have a few late season mangoes hanging on.
Yes.
But you're all gone. You're done with everything.
Look at that.
Wow. What tree is that?
That was a kit.
That was a kit.
Yes. And like I said, I've got to get in there and paint it.
But you didn't leave any limbs on that one, it looks like.
No, I didn't. I wanted it cut down. It's either I convert it over or I let the Edwards on each side of it grow.
So what are you going to do?
I'll just wait.
Okay.
I'll be patient. It'll come back. Part of it's going to come back. I got to be positive on that.
Oh, well, he did a lot since we were last here. Look at this one he cut. So on this one here,
yes,
you cut all these sides and you left that side.
Yeah, because the other side is coconut cream.
Oh, you got to leave that.
And you said that there's some limbs there, like I have to get in here. If you can see that limb right there, you can see the grafting tape on it.
Yeah.
So that's coconut cream, but this has to be cut off. That's got to be cut off.
What
now,
were those? Part of the original
if
tree?
I wanted, what now? I'm sorry.
Those were part of the original tree?
Yeah, this is Tommy Atkins.
Okay.
And so you ask if I could do the bark graft on that. That would be ideal, especially that one because this one's a little bit big, but it can be done.
Now, what's everything over there on that side?
This one's pretty good. This is coconut cream.
So they're all coconut cream, but is this a new coconut cream graft?
No, that was done when I did the other back there.
So this one is much smaller than everything else.
Yes.
So did that one not take, or is it just growing slower?
That's a case where I should have cut that off.
Okay.
And let the growth or the power of the tree go to that graft. Once I cut it off, the nutrients and what have you will go to that tree. I'm going to convert the whole tree over to coconut cream.
Okay.
That's one of your new mangoes.
Yes, it's excellent.
And it's very good.
Excellent.
Very good. I want to do that one side veneer on that volunteer back there.
Let's do it.
And I've got the tape.
Now, what kind of tape is that?
This, I brought two kinds out here. I don't like this tape at all, this one, because it's so thin. The thing about it, though, is you can see through it real easy. This one, you can pull on it. And this is what I use on the bottom part of the side veneer. And, you know, to lock it in really good. I see on the internet where they have these ties, and another person uses rubber bands. But I take this tape and I start at the bottom, like any good roofer does. You know, when you want to dry things in, you want to dry the roof in, you start at the bottom and you gradually go up and you overlap it. Okay, I go all the way up, and then I come all the way down and I tie at the bottom. Okay, and that gives me 2 wraps, and I wrap it really tight in there so it won't move. Then I take a piece of buddy tape or parafilm tape, and I wrap that grafting tape up, and that seals everything in really good, and no moisture can get in. And yeah, they usually work if you do it the right time.
How many times do you wrap the top, though? The very top?
The
once?
top, just once.
One layer. A buddy tape?
Yes, or parafilm tape, whatever you got.
Now, is it necessary? Is it helpful to see through, or not? It doesn't make a difference?
You know, I have some tape inside that I don't use anymore that's all white. And I don't like it because I can't see through it, because I'm anxious. And I'll go back to check things, and sometimes I'll have the bag. I'll always put a bag over it, regardless. I'll take that bag off. I have a little wire type thing that I use. Take the bag off to check it, and then I'll look in through that tape. And if it's still green, I know I'm still okay.
Now, when you say put a bag over, for people know, you'll show us later. When you finish it, you put a bag over so it keeps the sun out from burning it.
Yeah, it keeps some moisture in, like the greenhouse effect.
Some people put foil on it. That'll do it.
That's okay. That keeps it from the sun drying it out so bad. Yeah.
Now, I've seen people, like with avocados or jackfruit, they won't even wrap the top. They'll just put a bag over it and seal the bag. Have you had any success with that?
I've seen people where they just wrap it just a little bit to hold it tight, and yes, I've seen that.
All right, let's go there.
They're better than I am. Be careful.
Yeah. Now, when is the best time to do these grafts? Is it now in the summer when it's right after this mango season, or is it? I heard wintertime is not as good for mangoes. What's your experience?
Well, you know, certain mangoes are easier to graft than others. That's what they say, right? Mm-hmm. Well, you know, certain mangoes have a different growing cycle too than others. You know, they all bloom about the same time, but they kind of grow differently. And so we're the Tommy Atkins is shooting off a lot of scions that you could use right now, but you take this tree, this is an Angie, and it's growing like crazy. So you don't get the same amount of scions off of that one that you do with the Tommy Atkins. And so because of that growth cycle, it does affect the grafting. And so you take, for an example, that Cogsall right there. Now, it has already gone through its growth cycle, but it has the longer scions with the one primary bud at the top. So you just have to follow that growth cycle. Yeah, most of them you graft after the season's over, because that's, you know, the tree is not focused on keeping all those mangoes or growing those mangoes. It's focusing now on growth, getting ready for the next year. And you take this tree, yeah, it's growing like crazy right now, but it's going to go through a dormant stage to get ready for the for next year's crop. I don't know if that answered your question, but it all depends on the growth cycle, I think. Let's go over this way.
So so the ideal time to graft for mangoes? Like you said, avocados was the winter time is better.
Yeah.
So for mangoes, you're saying it's individually depends on the growth cycle of the tree?
Yeah,
or,
but it's mainly during the summer.
Mainly during the summer, okay.
June, July, August.
Okay, that was a question. When is the best time for success? June, July, and August, okay. So now we have an avocado, we have a squirrel, and we have another tree here. So what tree is this? This is a volunteer?
Yeah, this is a volunteer. I've already tried to do it once, and I have a tag already on it.
Okay.
So this is, what is this here?
It's just a seedling.
A seedling, okay.
I call them volunteers.
And that's a rosy gold graft in your hand?
This is a rosy gold graft on this one.
Okay, and that one wored?
Yes, that one did.
Okay, so you put that one on the seedling.
And what I'll do here now, I'll just take and do this. I'll go real lightly on it like this.
Because it's already taken.
Yeah, it's already taken in there real good.
How long do you leave the tape on before you take it off?
I don't get anxious about that either. I'm very patient with that because I want it to have a good support.
What happens if you left the tape on?
You might girdle it.
Okay.
But this tape will probably disintegrate. You know, it'll break because that limb starts growing. It's gonna, you know, it can break concrete. Roots can. So yeah, it'll break through it eventually, but it can girdle it as well.
So this is your rosy gold scion budwood.
Okay, now you notice that thing is growing to the left there, or to your right. Okay, and so I want it to be straight. So I'm going to take, and I think I'll use it right here. Go around it like that, really, you know, I don't want to cut myself. And then it was just snap in two.
So you're saving the bottom part of that? Okay.
Yeah, I'll show you. Clean that up a little bit. And about the, you know what? I'm going to take and left out one step here.
So that looks like parafilm.
Yes. I always start at the bottom. Some people start at the top. It's just that's what makes the world go around. But I have a little different thing that I do when I get to the top too. I take and turn it sideways like that, and then I go at the bottom of the buds, and I make this is just makes it a little tighter. That's all.
So the key is you want to cover the whole top, right?
Yes.
Only one time.
Only one time. And you notice when I went down, I went under the buds. The top of the bud only has one layer over it.
Okay.
Okay.
And everybody, you want to wrap it before you do the graft so you don't move it once it's on the tree.
That's right.
What's this graft called that you're doing?
Side veneer.
Side veneer. So you cut one side here, keeping it as straight as possible.
Just a little bit more off the bottom. Now, you have a clear area down the middle of it, and you have the cambium layers, the green lines on each side, and this is what you want to match up with your rootstock. Now I'll turn it over, and instead of making just a notch like this, I want at least an inch at the bottom of this. And I want, oops, I want it to go to the point, to a point like an arrow. And I'm having a little problem, so I'm going to take and go off to one side first. And my knife is dull, and I just sharpened it. Gotta have a sharp knife. Okay, can you see that?
Yep.
That's a pretty good point there now. Okay, now.
Can you give me that a second? Let me show people
Sure.
this. So, there it is. So that's the one side that's real long, and then there's the other side that's short here. Okay. Here's the top graft. And that's the...
This is the grafting tape.
Okay, but you wouldn't use parafilm for this part. You want to use something like stronger, right? To hold it. Some people use a baby pin, a clothespin. Some people use a string. So wait, so now you're gonna cut that, okay?
Okay.
First you're gonna match it up. Now, on this type of graft, it has to be the similar size, right? Does it matter if one's bigger than the other?
With a side veneer, that's the good of this, is you don't have to match. It doesn't have to be the same size. So I'm going to take and make about an inch cut here underneath it like that. That's about right. Okay, that'll take care of that. And I'll flip it over.
So it doesn't need to be the same size?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
That's the good about a side veneer graft. All right, I'm going to go right there. And I have the clear area in the middle. I have the green lines on each side. I know you know all about this, right, Paul? And I'll stick it in there. Now, I'm really concerned just on one side, but usually you can look at it and it looks like both sides match up.
So you want to match up at least one side.
At least one side.
And now this should be touching right here. This middle should be touching, right? There's some daylight in between.
Well,
there.
when I take and
tie it up, it'll make it
tie it
tighter.
up.
Okay.
And as I wrap it, I'm going to pull it together too. And I'm going to wrap all the way up to the top, and then I'm going to come all the way down to the bottom, but I'm going to make sure that this whole thing is wrapped. And like you say, you got to match up one side for sure.
Did you cut any leaves off this before you put that on?
So it wouldn't interfere with the...
But you should still leave the leaves on the main part, right?
I'm going to cut off a little bit of that too.
Not all though, right?
No.
Okay. And what about under it? Do you leave those leaves?
Just leave it
You
alone.
leave those leaves under there. You don't cut these. Okay.
Now I'm going to go back down. I'm wrapping it twice, really. Now I'll take my buddy tape. And this is something extra I've done, lately, because everything you do, you tweak it. You try to make it better. And I wrap it over this. I don't think I really need this, but I do it now.
That's your parafilm that you're using?
Yes.
Okay.
Almost ripped it then. You got to be careful.
So the key is that this only has one layer on it on that side, so that the buds can come out wherever they're going to come out.
That's right. Okay.
So you left the leaves on here. You left the leaves on here. You'll cut some, but not all.
I'll cut some.
How long? As soon as this takes, do you cut this, or do you wait? How does that work?
If you can wait, if you don't get too antsy and you can wait for it to flush out 2 times, then that's perfect. But people can't usually wait.
And then where would you cut this once that does flush out? Where do you cut this one?
Cut this one. I cut it all right there.
Right there. Okay.
Right there.
Okay.
Now you say, how much should I cut off? I'm going to leave a lot of this, because I wanted to shade my scion. And I still got a lot of shade there. This acts like an umbrella.
Now, will you put a bag over that or no?
I can. I usually do that.
So even with the shade of the other leaves, you still usually do it? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, some people will take and do this. We might as well do this too. They'll take and come in here like this. Okay. And rewrap that.
Is that just assured it's not going to get wet?
That seals it on the top right there.
Okay. Is that, you said some people do that, so is that not necessary?
A lot of people don't do it. Some people do.
Is it helpful?
I think it is. You only get out of something what you put into it. So, yeah, I would go with that. Like this, I don't think this is necessary either. After I did all that, I'm taking too much time here. Okay. Since this is a side veneer graft and it's not done on the top, I take and split the bottom part of the bag. Then I'll put that on there to put one way and one the other way like that. And I got a bag on it.
Now, do you prefer this method as your favorite method, or do you just did this for the camera today?
Side veneer?
Yeah.
This is my favorite method.
Now, what's the, some people will cut this cliff graft, right? Where you cut the top and you make a V shape. You cut the
Oh
side
yeah,
of
that's
both
top
sides.
cliff graft.
Top cliff. So what's your opinion about those?
Well, like I said before, I did an experiment, one of those science fair experiments. I did a lot of side veneer grafts. I did a lot of top cleft grafts, and I did. I'll show you this too while we're here. I did a lot of the chip bud grafts. I look at that, and there's a bud right there. Okay, and a pretty good distance there. It doesn't have to be that big on the top.
Because there's buds on both sides too.
I know, but I'm going to cut off a lot of them.
Okay.
The only one I'm concerned with is this one right here. This is your chip bud graft. Okay, I want to take and do this side here. And it's the same thing. I wanted to go down deep enough that it's not going, that the woody part of the thing is showing. Sorry. That would look like it was being torn instead of cut. Okay. Then I take, this is your bud. So now I want at least a half an inch, just like that guy down at Walk Farms. I want this to go down to a point. Now you know why I do a side veneer.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Is that too thick? So he's trying to match it up now.
I think that'll work out right there.
Well, I can't see. Wait. Okay. I'll say you see. You cut that.
That better?
Yep.
Okay. Now, when I get ready to put this in, I want to take and put it as far as that goes. Oops. Okay.
So you're doing the same thing as you do for the side graft right now.
Yes.
So pretty much right now it's identical to a side graft.
Yes. Yes, it is.
All right. So it's the same thing. So this, let me ask you this. You had to select good budwood for the side veneer graft so you would get this part out. But with the chip graft,
Yes.
does it matter if it's pushing or not?
You know, with this particular graft, that is a very good question. Because with this particular graft, it's better to use a dormant bud than it is one that's pushing out. Because if it's pushing out, it will actually take, and then you see the bottom part of that is not I could cut that off.
Would you just cut it with sticking out because it was a little too big?
Yeah, it was a little bit too big.
Okay.
Because I want it to be tight.
So what you saying? If it was pushing,
It's better to do it with a dormant bud.
And why is that?
I don't know, because I've done it, and I would think, oh man, I've got it, and then it doesn't.
So you're not using the top of the budwood on these cliff grafts, so why would it make a difference if the top was pushing or not?
I don't know. It makes a difference.
So it seems this way would be better because you can get budwood any time, right?
Yes, a lot of people figure it that way. Okay, when I wrap this,
Go ahead, Steve.
When I wrap this, I don't wrap the bud. I wrap around it.
Okay, wrap around the bud. You went right over it though.
The bud's right there. The bud is right there above my fingernail. Okay, I'm going to go over this.
So you're going over the exposed part.
Yeah.
Is the bud always right on top of the exposed part?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the pedio, or the leaf.
Okay.
Okay. As I'm going up, you'll see that I've grafted. I mean, I've wrapped the side part of that.
Okay.
And as I complete I don't want to go over the bud, so I had to go up some with it. But when I come back down, remember we're wrapping this twice. I'm coming down now, and I will take and wrap the bottom part.
So you don't want to go over the bud on this?
No, but I'm going to take, you'll see in a minute, I'm going to take some buddy tape and go over that with one layer just to seal it in. You don't need as much tape to do a chip bud, do you?
No, now I see you left the leaves all below and above this. Is that necessary or is it preferable? You left the leaves here and you left these leaves.
I'm going to trip off the top of this, but I want some shade for it.
What about below it? Is it necessary to keep these leaves?
According to all the gurus, it's best to leave this so that the growth will keep coming up.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm going to take and put...
So here, so far, everybody, he wrapped it. There's the chip, but he left it open a little there. But now he's going to take some buddy tape or parafilm and do one layer. Just one layer?
One layer.
It looks like you wrapped it. How many times did you wrap it?
Uh-oh.
Did you wrap it more than once?
Just one time.
That here.
Okay, I'm finishing up wrapping it now. I'm going to pull it, and parafilm tape sticks to each other, so.
Okay.
All right. And only one layer over the bud itself.
Okay.
Okay, and that's a chip bud.
Okay, nice. We'll come back. Now, does one of them usually take faster than the other, of the veneer and the chip, or is it usually the same amount of time?
Usually it's the same amount of time.
Okay. Now, if you have a tree in a pot that you're going to show us later, is it preferable to do one of these grafts any different in a pot, or is it the same situation usually?
Same situation.
Okay. So the advantage of the chip bud is you can get budwood much more readily, because you could take any dormant budwood and use the chip from that, right?
Yes.
Now on that, does it matter how big it is? Like, can you take this?
I wouldn't use...
It's too young?
It's too young.
Okay, but you could take like this easily, right? And use one of these buds.
Yes, because it's at least 2 flushes of growth down, so it's got to be at least 2 flushes of growth.
Now, did you say you cut the top after that, or no?
Yeah, I did cut the top.
Oh, you cut the top.
But I still have that umbrella covering the bud. Okay. I still have the umbrella covering the graft here.
Now, do you need to put a bag on that, or no?
No, I don't. Okay. I'm not going to put a bag on that.
It's on the side. Would foil help, or you just leave it alone?
According to some of the websites I've read, if you do not put aluminum foil around that, then you're asking, it won't take. So they're saying that definitely put aluminum foil around it.
Okay. From your experience, what, 50-50?
Right here lately, I haven't been using aluminum foil over it at all.
Okay. All right. We're going to head over to the table again.
You said you wanted to see the Simmons over there.
Yes.
Yeah, shit. You might want some cuttings off of that.
Yes, actually.
I have a question about
Sure.
you topping this with rosy gold. These are volunteers,
Yes.
and are you going to be able to move them once they take? Because it looks like it's right underneath an avocado tree and too close to these other trees.
That's what Paul said last time he was here. I really don't care. I'm going to have mangoes on the bottom, and I'm going to have avocados on the top. This tree definitely needs trimming, so I'm going to take and cut off about 10 feet of that, and so it'll bush out better. I have a Simmons on avocado right there in the middle, so I'm going to have Poole, Simmons, and Rosy Gold.
Isn't one of them canopy's gonna overtake one other and create?
Might.
And one more question.
Another avocado.
You mentioned on the what did you call this kind of graft? The chip graft. You wanted two nodes or two below what you're taking.
I just want it to be longer on the bottom side so I can do that half-inch notch, so that the graft or the bud will fit in there, so I can wrap it.
Okay. So this would be okay. This piece right here would be okay. Except
I wouldn't use that piece because it's too young.
Okay.
I would use something at the bottom, in this area.
In this area, this would be okay. Is this piece here would be okay if this is a little woody?
Yeah.
This would be fine.
Mm-hmm. I think so. It's dormant, and that's what they say you need. And according to my experience, a dormant bud is better.
Now, how close do you cut the leaf off to the wood?
I cut it all the way off.
All the way off.
I don't want to damage the bud.
Okay. How do you know how to do that?
I just
For the chip, would this be a good one to prepare also, so it would just fall off easier after 4 days?
I don't know if I would do that, Paul, because if it's dormant, it works out better. I've had the experience of trying to do buds that the same way that I do the top parts, where they're just beginning to come out, and they would come out and start growing, and then they would die on me. And the part, the bud part, would still be green, and
I see. So this one you'd want to cut it, right, and not prepare it.
Yes, I think the dormant part of the deal is the most important.
So, like he was asking, how close do you cut it?
Just
Do you mind showing us?
no, not at all. But I think that's a little bit too small. That one is.
No, this is only for illustration purposes.
Okay. First of all, I just want to damage the bud.
And the bud is going to be like in the armpit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like in a tomato, the bud will be in the armpit. So you don't want to cut so close where you damage that, but you're wrapping that, but leaving that open. And okay.
And it's like Paul said, it's similar to the side veneer, but you mainly just working with one bud, and I clean that off a little bit. Then I take in.
Are you going down the middle with that, or just cutting off the end?
Just at the end of it.
Okay.
But deep enough that.
But not all the way to the middle, but deep enough.
Right. I want to see the white part or the clear part down the middle, and I want to see the lines on the outside. And then I take and get about a half inch, inch, 3/4 inch. This is easier to work with.
That's beautiful.
Now, if you wanted to give that to somebody, how long will that last before they need to get that on the tree?
When you're doing chip buds or budding, graft budding, it has to go on immediately.
Immediately.
Yes.
Okay, but whereas the veneer graft or the cleft graft, you can wait a couple of days, right?
Yeah, but after you cut it, then taking, put it in a bag. Put it in a bag with some moisture, a paper towel or something, so it won't dry out. Yeah.
But this one immediately has to go.
Yes,
So
definitely.
there's one
Because
side.
it's like you said, you after you do it, you should be putting aluminum foil around it. Actually.
Okay. Now, when you take budwood from an avocado, do you need to prepare it, or is this a little different than the mango?
That's different. With the avocado, I would take and get something like this. This won't hurt it. Won't hurt the tree. This is almost perfect. Take and trim off all the leaves. And if you do this in February and March, you'll get 95%. I trim all off but the last two. And yes, we put a bag over this for sure. And on the last two, some people do mangoes this way.
So are you wrapping this when you wrap it, or do you just put a bag over the top?
Put a bag over it.
And can you wrap the bag closed or something?
Yeah, I would take and put the bag over it, because you're going to use, with this, you're going to use a top cleft graft. And I'm not worried about this because it will bend. You say, God, that looks like an S shape, But, the bottom part of this would go into your rootstock, and trim it on both sides like you do. A cleft graft is best for avocados.
A cleft graft, that's the V,
Top
right?
cleft graft,
That's the
yes.
V. And why is that?
I don't know. I experience again.
Can you do it cliff graft on the avocado like you just showed us, the bud clip? I'm not a cliff, the bud
Chip.
the bud chip.
I would not do
Okay.
that on there. I don't think I would. Because
Okay.
it's so easy to do the top cleft graft on
Sure.
an avocado. You don't have to go any further.
And what do you wrap it up with what?
I wrap it up with that grafting tape.
The grafting tape, and then top you're just putting a bag, clear
Yes.
plastic bag.
Go, wrap it with the grafting tape. Go all the way up, and come all the way down. Tie it off. Put your parafilm tape, buddy tape over that. It seals it up really good, and they take. There's no problem with avocados whatsoever.
Okay.
Well,
Sounds
here's your
good.
first one.
Yeah.
Nah, he wants something straighter than that.
And also not now, right? You want something. Should I try it now or do it?
It's up to you.
And is it better on the avocado? Like, let's say you have a tree this size that you want to top work. Is it better to, where would you connect it to? Like what would you connect to? Is it better to cut it and wait for new growth? Or is it better to like take an existing part here and put it on there?
Good question. I guess that's something I'll have to experiment on.
What do you normally do?
I would take, if I was going to top cleft that tree, top graft it, I think I would cut off part of it.
You would cut top of it, but
actually, when you get ready for your grass, we'll just cut off that big limb and let you have the rest of it. Just let you have that big limb, because I would really like to see that one trimmed down some so it can bush out.
But I shouldn't like cut the tree now, cut everything off and let new growth come. I should just wait.
I've done that now, Paul. I've cut them off, I've had avocados that didn't have any flavor to them, that were lousy, like the Donny. And
Yeah.
I've cut it off and let new shoots come. And there are tons of my knife of YouTubes on grafting avocados as well as mangoes.
But is it preferably if I had a choice to cut it here and put the graft here versus cutting this and letting new growth, what would be the top of both of those in your opinion?
I don't know if I would do it on that old growth like that.
So you should be green to green?
I think I would take and come back if I was going to do a limb like this. I would come back and do it, say, on that.
Okay, so green to green.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Green
Okay.
even
Hard
on mangoes,
green.
it's better to do
Okay.
green to green.
Okay. Now, what if this was super thick and the graft, the budwood was this skinny? It don't matter as long as one side's matched up?
If it's super thick like that, use a bark graft. Don't try to match it up. You've seen with people that try to do a top cleft graft with a limb that big. You put it on the side. You know, you have problems. First of all, you know.
It's only matching on one side.
Yeah, it only matches on one side, and you got that big gap on the other side where you made your incision down. You have it filled on this side and blank on that side. So what do? I guess you would take and put another graft on the other side so it'd be filled up. But don't do just one. If you're going to do it like that, do at least two.
Okay. All right. Two in the same thick part, you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
And I showed you that carambola tree down there where I did 4, and you might want to see that.
Yes.
Where we did 4 on that carambola tree, and they all four of them took, and that really looks good.
I started exactly 1 year ago, and I can't even walk around my yard anymore because I got so many things in the ground, thanks to this man here.
Yeah.
Ideally,
he's affected a lot of people that way.
yes. Ideally, December you cut this, top it to let it shoot out in order to change it. Like if you wanted to change this to something else, you come in, you would top it and let new growth come out.
If I was going to change that over to something else, I would come down and cut it almost chest height.
Should I cut it now?
Is your tree this big?
My tree's smaller than this, but it has loaded with avocados right now.
No, I wouldn't do it with avocados on it, because why would I? You think about that. I can plant all those seeds of those avocados and get some plants, and I have 40 or 50 plants coming up, and after they get say a foot tall, then you take and put a top cleft graft on those babies, and 95% of them are going to take. So no, I wouldn't do that now. No, sir.
December would be a good time if he wants to top his Donny. That would be December the time to do that, or November?
Well, December would be the time to use one of the existing grafts, right, and go on to that.
I would top it after all the avocados are all. That's the usual trimming time.
All right.
That was a grafted tree.
Are certain avocados better for roots than others?
You know, I like an avocado that has a larger seed. That'll produce a better roots.
Sure. These are mangoes that are in pots, growing. So, are there any different than what you've been doing on the trees? Do you treat these any different?
No. Chris Remjanek of Orlando, he has. You might want to contact him. He has over 200 trees in pots, and he came down here from Orlando and actually wanted to learn how to graft, and so he came down. You know, if you listen to people, I don't care who they are, you learn from them. I've learned a lot from Chris, and he watched how I did my grafting, went back up. He wanted the Cindy, and he wanted the Charles Poole. He wanted the newer varieties, so he came down to learn how to graft, and also to get those scions from those trees. Took them back and was successful. But he told me, and I'm going to do it on these trees. This is going to be one of my experiments. Told me that here's another one of those little things, and I hope this goes viral, that this grapefruit seed extract is the thing to use. Okay, you put, say, 10 drops into a little water there and mix it up and put it on your grafts, and it's supposed to be very good to allow things to fight the fungus and what have you.
When you say on the grafts, what do you mean?
When you do your grafts,
So after you cut it, you put them on the
cut
actual
part.
exposed part?
on the exposed part and your scion.
Wow.
And some people say use aspirin water, and some people say use aloe and.
Okay, so you're going to show us, you're going to make a tree here. So these are seedlings. And what kind of rootstock is that?
It's Tommy Atkins.
Tommy Atkins.
Tommy Atkins, and Tommy Atkins is a seedling from the Haden. I only need 5 inches of this.
So what are you going to do? What kind of graft?
I'll put a side veneer. Is that all right? What do you want me to do?
Let's do a cleft. That's the V, right?
Okay, you want to do a top cleft graft?
Yeah, let's see one of those.
Okay, let's don't use this one.
Well, what do you suggest for a tree in a pot? The side or the cleft? Or does it make a difference?
I'm not sure if that would make any difference. I use a side veneer on both of them.
All right, let's do these two. Let's do one for a side. You want to do that one on the side and one a cleft?
I'm going to do it with this one right here.
Okay.
With the cleft graft. With the top cleft graft, you want one that's about the same size. So I'm going to use this one.
Now, I see the way you're cutting it and breaking it. Can you just use clippers if you wanted to as well?
Yeah, I could, but you know what?
Okay.
With the clippers, it mashes it. And it instead of cutting it, you're tearing it. You're tearing it off. Okay? Okay.
So this is, when's the best time to do this?
What, to graft?
To graft, like this is a
good time.
A good time. You want to wait till they grow, till there's some good stem there?
I don't know. You know, this one, I want it to be about the same size. So, yeah, it has to be. I would have to go with a smaller scion for that.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'm going to take and go down the center. The dead center. And you go slow. You don't have to go fast. Okay, it's a little bit better than an inch. Okay, that's growing that way, so I'm gonna now I've got my clear area in the middle, and I got the 2 lines on the outside. Okay, now I'm going to flip it over and get the other side. Almost. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, now let's take and do Chris's method here. I don't know if this is a way to do it or not, but I was thinking, well, you know, I'll just borrow some of these brushes that my wife used to use when she was teaching elementary school.
So that's the grapeseed extract.
Grapeseed extract.
Have you done any of these yet successfully with this?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
But I'm still, the verdict is still out. I don't know. I don't know. When I do this, I put my hand off the side and push it down. Make sure it's on one side, and hopefully it matches up. It's pretty good.
And that is
This is the grafting tape. I can pull it a little bit tighter, making sure it's snug. And as I wrap it up, I make sure that, you know, the thing matches.
Now, would it have been wise to wrap the top first?
Yes, it would have.
So you're not shaking it when you do it, right?
I made a mistake, didn't I? I made a mistake, but that's easy to put on. Yeah, I always wrap them first. I wrap them before I even start grafting. That's done automatically. Okay, now I'm going to go back down the other way. I wrapped it twice, really. And I still use the top cleft graft. You know, some of them, especially with the one primary bud at the top, it seems like that top cleft graft works pretty good. Okay.
Do you see the budwood or that working better? I mean, the buddy tape or the
Parafilm tape.
Parafilm. What do you like better?
This is easier to work with. I'm just going to do the top now, but I'm going to...
The Parafilm's a lot cheaper than the buddy tape.
Is it? Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You know what? He said that was a great idea. Well, I'm going to tell you something. If I don't do this, I'll leave it outside here. The sun will get to it and it'll melt. And I'm out $35 or more than that now, probably.
For the buddy tape, but the Parafilm is pretty cheap.
Isn't it the same thing?
No, the buddy tape is a little thinner. They do the same job though. So you wrap the top once there. Again, ideally it's better to wrap the top first.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Then you'll, okay, wrap that. Very good. Seal that in. There you go. Now, normally you would put a bag over that?
Yes, I do. This was K-Saw, wasn't it?
No, this was Tommy Atkins.
No, K-Saw.
Oh, K-Saw. Okay, even better.
It's Tommy Atkins rootstock.
How much would you sell a tree like this for?
45.
Okay. Did you have to look for a reason?
Yeah, I was trying to find one over there that was ready, but I bought that juicy peach. I bought it for $45, and it was in a 3-gallon pot. And then I moved it over to a 7-gallon.
There you go. Look at that. And that's just a bread bag.
Yep.
Can you use any plastic bag?
Anything that's tight.
Does it have to be clear or not necessarily?
Well, I like it. It doesn't
like
have
to
to be
see it,
clear.
yeah,
But I like this part because it gives it a little shady area. Now, I'm not going to leave these trees here. I've got my grafted trees that I've got coming over on the other side. I must have 30 or 40 over there that are grafted.
Or can you put like a black plastic bag? It don't matter, right?
I don't think I would put a black one there.
I mean, gray, white, it don't matter. It don't have to be clear.
I've used newspaper bags before because they're easier to work with.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Yeah, and I've used...
But then if it rains, that's not good if it's newspaper.
Yeah, if it rains, that's the purpose of this bag, is to keep the water from coming, getting in it. We've had a lot of rain here the last few days, and I've lost a few grafts over there because it rains so much.
Even with the plastic bag?
I have the plastic bags on them, and I still lost it because you're not supposed to water these things when...
oh, you don't water them?
Yeah, you don't. For a couple of weeks there, a little, but for a couple of weeks, you just... the watering is very light.
Very light. So what, like once a week?
Once a week is fine.
And how long before you should see the bud breaking through?
It all depends. Sometimes it'll break through in a week or so, and then but most of them you just have to be patient. As long as I can look here and see that it's green, we were talking about that.
Sure.
Then I'm fine. But sometimes I'll get antsy to see if I got a bud coming, and I'll take the bag off. That's one good thing about having a bag with a tag on it. Take that tag off, you can check it out. Because I get antsy.
Very good. And you could use this as bud, right?
Yeah, I can use that.
Bud.
Yeah, or I could use that as a any type bud. I could use that for a side veneer. I could just do it on one side.
Oh, really? And what, it would come out
because it
here?
does the same thing. Yeah.
So a side veneer, okay, and a bud chip is not too much
about the
different.
same thing. Yeah, it is. It's about the same thing.
But on these, you've used one that was already pushing, where you use a dormant one for the chip mostly.
Well,
right?
this is still, it's just barely, you can't even see it. So that's still kind of on the dormant side, but it's right where you want it, right at the point where it's, if it takes, it's going to grow. Sometimes you'll do a chip bud like that, and it won't start growing until the next season.
Oh, really? It takes that long?
Yeah, that's the truth.
Is that why? Because of the when you did it?
Those chip buds, it takes longer for them to take. I've got some over there that are doing good, but usually on a chip bud, you go green on green.
Okay.
You don't put it down on this part.
Okay, so you don't want to put it on the bark. You want to do green on a chip bud. Okay.
Yeah, I would
so
go.
This one would be better.
Yes.
That's a little thin though, right?
Yeah, it is a little thin.
Yeah.
But this one, I had a seedling come up underneath the Tommy Atkins mango tree, and so I just brought it over here. It was only this tall, and here it is right here. It had actually the leaves were still kind of on the brownish side, and so they said that's when you do it. And look how small that was.
Oh wow. So what graft did you do?
I just did a top cleft graft on that.
Okay. All right, everybody, there it was. If you're looking to graft mango trees or avocado trees, now you know more information of how to do it. Charlie, thank you so much for all your work.
Thank you for coming.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. If you're growing trees and know somebody who is and you'd like me to come out and feature on the show, just contact me below. The email's below. If you want to contact Charlie, his link's below. And check out the link I did the last time I was here as well. Until then, everybody, have a great day and keep growing. For more educational videos about mangoes and other fruits and how to grow fruit trees, please look out the other videos on this channel, Fruitful Trees, and also subscribe if you like, and also share these videos with others. Thank you for watching. Have a great day and keep growing.